In this video, we present a brief introduction to sanitation in Afghanistan. The video starts with overview of the current situation, challenges, and issues in the area of sanitation across the country. Following the introduction, the video will describe the existing initiatives and programs going on throughout the country. Finally, we will summarize the key commitments and plans for the future. Located within South and Central Asia, Afghanistan has a population of over 34 million with 2.7% annual growth. It is the 42nd most populous country in the world. According to Human Development Index, Afghanistan is the 15th least developed countries in the world. The under 5 mortality in Afghanistan is very high, which is 55 per 1,000 live births. In 2010, the Ministry of Rural Rehabilitation and Development formulated a WASH policy for the years 2010 and 2020. Together with the multi-stakeholder water and sanitation group, this policy was revised in 2016. The revised WASH policy for the years 2016 and 2020 has been signed by the 3 ministries who are involved in rural development, that include Ministry of Rural Rehabilitation and Development, Ministry of Public Health, and the Ministry of Education. It now includes the commitment of these ministries to the Sustainable Development Goals, in particular 6.1 and 6.2. The responsibilities of the key sector ministries and other stakeholders as well as the communities are clearly defined. Apart from the water supply, the sanitation commitments include the target of Afghanistan ODF by 2025, and it also mentions WASH in schools and WASH in health centers. In 2016, the Ministry of Urban Development and Housing, together with the urban water sector stakeholders, developed the urban water supply and wastewater policy. At the same time, the national government formulated the next generation of national priority program, the Citizen Charter Afghanistan. It is aiming for increased self-reliance. In 2015, for the first time in the past 15 years, the Ministry of Finance created a specific budget line for rural sanitation in national budget. At present, there are no reliable data yet to estimate coverage against the SDG 6.2 target on the population with access to safely managed sanitation. The Central Statistics Office has collected data on sanitation, and in their latest Afghan Living Conditions Survey, they found that 39% of population has sanitation facilities. However, no data are available if these facilities are improved. Although it has gone down in last decade, Afghanistan has 41% of stunting. 1/3 of Afghan population without a toilet lives in 3 provinces, which are also highest in stunting. Ten provinces house 2/3 of all open defecators, and 85% of all open defecators are concentrated in half of the country. Overall, in many areas of Afghanistan, latrine use was already a normal practice. Latrines can be found all over the country and often are built in the compounds where several families share them. The age-old traditional practice in Afghanistan is for household to use raised vault latrine. However, these toilets are often not safely managed and contact with human faces is possible. The definition of an improved latrine includes hand-washing facilities. Therefore, all households install hand-washing facilities in their latrines. In rural areas, the latrine content is emptied regularly. Often, walls are emptied and the content is mixed with ashes from cooking fire, yard sweepings, and buried, so at a later stage, it can be used as compost. Across Afghanistan, daily night soil collection is still practiced, and waste is reused in agriculture or dumped on the outskirts of towns. Further, in urban areas, the water-based toilets are generally connected to septic tank and soakage well. The septage from the soakage well usually seeps to groundwater, but in the septic tank, it is mostly contained and then emptied regularly. The collected fecal sludge is emptied in the river or on the farmlands in peri-urban areas. At present, Afghanistan is looking into the possibility of revising and sanitizing the reuse of human waste in agriculture. The potential for that is huge, given that most of the toilets are dry toilets and that Afghanistan is still predominantly reliant economically on agriculture. When in 2015 the sanitation situation was reviewed during a logical framework analysis with all stakeholders of Afghanistan, the conclusion was that open defecation was a real threat to society and that a major effort needed to be made to reduce open defecation, in particular in the highest open defecation provinces. Based on the outcome of the LFA, it was decided that scaling up of CLTS would be priority, whereby not only the target is for all families to have a latrine, but to create behavior change by including hand washing in the program. Therefore, Afghan context CLTS is to reach ODF communities, and only when families have toilets with hand washing facilities, the ODF status is reached. The initial focus of the CLTS program is still on high open defecation and high stunting prevalence provinces and districts. Since 2016, the Ru-WatSIP program, with support from UNICEF in close partnership with Ministry of Public Health and UNICEF, manage the scale up and are working with NGOs. Currently, 35 teams of 5 field facilitators are working in 15 provinces, and together they are now active in 86 of 399 districts of Afghanistan. Based on the data of JMP and ALCS, we can see that Afghanistan has increased its coverage of sanitation. We are now at 39% sanitation coverage in Afghanistan, with 33% in rural areas and 56% in urban areas. As for the CLTS results, there is a steady increase of the number of ODF communities from 2012. After the first CLTS program, currently there are 2,500 ODF communities in Afghanistan. The CLTS implementing partners did not only achieve ODF communities, but in 2017 and early 2018 there were 4 districts declared as ODF. The CLTS implementing partners not only achieved ODF communities, but in 2017 and early 2018 there were 4 districts declared as ODF. The first one was the Nili district in Daikundi province. The second one, Balkhab in Saripol province. Third and fourth were Keshim and Khash in Badakhshan province. The country celebrates Global Hand Washing Day every year, where government ministries, especially the Ministry of Education, makes commitment to promote hand washing with soap. And in 2017, the first Girls' Hygiene Day and Global Hand Washing Day was organized by the Ministry of Education. For the first time in 2017, the Central Statistics Organization included water quality testing in Afghanistan Living Conditions Survey in 10 provinces. Also, for the first time, the community platform created by CLTS were used to start the implementation of the community-based water safety planning. In the coming years, the main focus will still be to increase the number of ODF communities and ODF districts. The aim will also be to have 1 or more provinces as ODF, as a sign that CLTS was done by the communities themselves can be done at scale. With the growth of the group of CLTS implementing agencies, the coordination and monitoring of CLTS activities will gradually be transferred from the central level in Kabul to the provincial level. It is important that communities, men and women, can work together to be more self-reliant. After successful trial by an NGO, the water safety planning and the CLTS rollout It is expected that this trial will be expanded to include more types of water systems. While CLTS is aimed at families and communities, the local governments need to see how public spaces like schools, health centers, mosques, markets, and stations also are free of open defecation.